Hey friend, it's Ange here, and today on the show we're talking about being in a pruning season. So think about it this way. When you prune a plant, if you're familiar with this process, you know you're cutting off branches and leaves and all that to redirect energy to the rest of the plant that you feel like matters most, because you want this plant to grow better, to bear more fruit or better fruit. Right? So you got to redirect that energy. You can't be sending energy all over in these different places because you know it's going to affect the overall growth of that plant. And it's not going to lead to the kind of fruit that you want to have. So that's what I'm feeling like the season that I'm in is I'm redirecting my energy to what matters most. So if you feel like you want to do that, or you feel like you have been in the season of pruning, because this is a thing with pruning, y'all, it's not always the most beautiful process. In fact, when my husband prunes this gigantic hibiscus behind me, I think that plant looks so ugly and janky when he prunes it, because I feel like he goes a little crazy with the whole pruning process. And I'm like, dude, I think you killed that plant. Like, I don't think it's coming back. But then it always shocks me because it comes back so much more beautiful and healthy. But there's a process, there's this time where I'm like, I don't think this is going to work out well. It looks ugly. It's like with pruning, that's how it is. It's like it can look ugly. It can feel not so great. And I feel like that's the season I'm in right now, the pruning, where it's ain't that cute, but I know it's going to lead to good things for me. And again, it might not feel that good, but it's going to lead to better things for me. So when we think about pruning, you can think about this also as, obviously redirecting your energy, but those branches and those leaves that you're cutting off, they may be things that at one time worked out well for you, and it did serve you. But given where you want to go, it's like it's no longer a good use of where you want to direct energy to. So that may be the case. So for me recently, I have had to have, I feel like, a lot of difficult conversations where I've had to set some boundaries. And it's been, keeping it real with y'all, super uncomfortable for me. And the reason why it's been uncomfortable is because the older version of myself was, I'll just admit it, a chronic people pleaser. I didn't know that, but as I look back now, I'm like, yep, she was. Because what I would do is I would prioritize the needs of others and what they wanted, the desires of them, over my own. And I would constantly put myself on the back burner. And I would feel drained by situations, but instead of trying to change them, I would tell myself things like, oh, I could be more patient. Maybe I just need to be more clear. Maybe if I did this, or I rearrange my time, I could do these things. I could add more. I tried to make excuses around it. And I acted like it was something that I needed to do better if I wanted to feel better, versus realizing that it wasn't a we-win situation that I was in. I was putting, again, everybody else's needs above my own. And I talk a lot about energy. And one of the things around the energy scale that I teach around is you have an energy, a service-oriented energy that is there, that can be a very positive, uplifting, building energy, where it's like you're focused on other people. Now, where this can go wrong is when you're so focused on other people that you're not thinking about yourself. It's like you have a picture and you got everybody else in that picture except you. So what I like to do for people is shift the energy even higher and say, what would it look like if it worked out well for you too? It's a we-win scenario. It's actually a higher energy. And that's what I've been doing with myself, is looking at situations in my life. It's like, is this also serving me, or is it just helpful to the other person? Is this just leaving me depleted, but it's helping and benefiting them? How can I make it a we-win situation? And how can I put myself back in the picture? And this is where the boundaries come in. And sometimes it's like, keeping it real with you, those other people are actually going to be in the picture because it doesn't make sense for the direction that I want to go. So these hard conversations I've been having this week have been all about that, redirecting the energy, the pruning. And it's, again, felt very uncomfortable because the old version of myself, the people pleaser, the making it all about everybody else, staying in draining situations, giving my energy towards things that actually weren't in alignment with my vision, not being as intentional as I could be. So the new version of myself, when I think about my vision and where I want to go as a mom, as an entrepreneur, as a wife, as a faithful steward of God's resources. I know that I can't keep showing up as that person who was just, I have a whole list of things I was doing. I would over explain when I did want to change something. I'm like trying to justify why I'm doing it. And I'd give a lot of energy to that. And it's like people I admire, they're not over explaining why they're doing something. They're just doing the thing. And they're okay if someone judges them about that and thinks bad of them because they have something else they're focused on. So I was doing that. I was carrying everybody else's discomfort. Like I would be like, oh, I don't want them to be upset, or I don't want them to. So I'll just do the thing. Right. And this showed up in even how I scheduled sessions with clients. I would schedule them at times that weren't convenient for me because it was more convenient for them. And I wasn't doing, is this beneficial to me too? It would show up like how, in my relationship with my husband, like it would show up like in the sense if he really wanted me to go on trips because my husband loves traveling and all of that. But when you're a mom and you're also like the default parent around a lot of things, you are the one planning, like packing all the things. And it's not that my husband isn't helpful. It's that you know how it is. Like if you're a mom, you understand. It's like you are the one that is, you know what to pack, you know what to do. You like you're thinking in ways that he just doesn't naturally think in. But it takes a lot of energy for you to get ready to go somewhere when you have kids, to make that a good experience for you. You got to pack all these things. You got to think ahead around, you get it. So I was like feeling like, oh, and I'm gone all the time and I'm doing all these trips because my husband wants to be gone and go do this stuff. It's like, it was really exhausting and draining to me because of the mental load that it took logistically to do all those things. And me right now in the season I'm in is, I feel like I'm pretty pregnant. I'm about to hit my 3rd trimester, my pregnancy. I have a toddler, and then I have all these other demands too. So I just felt like, oh, like we had a trip coming up and he was like talking about wanting to leave for that. And I'm just like, this doesn't feel good to me. I don't want to do this. An older version of myself would have just done it and been uncomfortable. Now it's like I'm speaking my truth and it's like, yeah, that doesn't feel aligned. So let's talk about what could feel aligned. Maybe I do 1 day instead of 3 days. Maybe like, right, my old version of myself wouldn't even done that. Would have just caved and done the thing. So there's an example of where that's shown up differently in the way how I've been different in the season that I'm in. And also it has caused challenges, keeping it real with you. Because what happens is when you start showing up in a way that you haven't showed up, people are like, what? Like, but you always do this. Like, who are you now? Like you're fighting, you're not necessarily fighting back, right? But you're setting the boundaries and they're confused by that. But this is the thing, the new version of yourself, if you think about your vision, you need to become a new version of yourself. You can't keep having the same mindset, the behaviors, the environment, the same kind of energy direction. You can't have all those those branches and all those things there. You got to start pruning. You got to change your ways, your habits, the way you show up, or you won't be able to fulfill that vision. Another way of saying this, I think about it as how you have what you have in your life right now because of your mindset, because of your energy, because of the habits that you have right now. That's why you have everything you have right now. You want something different, you need to change those things too. So that's what I feel like I've been being called to do, because the new version of myself, this is what she does. She doesn't people please. She does things that feel aligned for her, that are we-win situations. And if she's not considered in this situation and her energy isn't being honored in this situation, she's not going to do the thing. And the other thing that she does is, again, she doesn't carry everyone else's discomfort, because that's what I was doing. The scenario I talked about with my husband is I didn't want him to be upset. I didn't want him to feel uncomfortable. So what did I do? I took on the discomfort. And the same is true with some of the sessions I would do with my clients in the past. I'd be like, oh, well, it's more convenient for them, so I'll take on the discomfort, versus letting people be disappointed and realizing that that's not mine to take on. That's their own mind. That's their work that needs to be done in their own selves. And if I look at people that I admire, I see this common trend. They don't take on what's not theirs. So they will come from a place of as long as they feel like their intentions are good around the way they are communicating, they're not obsessing about how it's received, because they realize that's not theirs to take on. And if someone receives something that you're delivering in a very negative way, It's not yours to take on. It's their own mind. What you need to take on, though, is realizing, what were your intentions good? Are you proud of the way you delivered the message? And if the answer is yes, great. If the answer is no, then do something about it to make it right. But if the answer is yes, then the other stuff, how it's received, you don't get to control. So that has been a big lesson for me, because I've realized, like, it's been the most challenging part for me is, like, with the people I love the most, like, for example, my husband, like, I never wanted him to be uncomfortable or upset. It's like, I don't like to see that. So it's like, I to sit with that and be like, that's his stuff. Like, he has to go through that, because I'm not going to put myself and my needs, like, on the back burner all the time, because then what ends up happening, it's not good for anybody. I start being resentful. And it's taken a lot of growth in myself. But now that I've been stepping up and being this person that speaks my truth, even when it's uncomfortable, even when other people will receive it, maybe in a negative way, I've realized that my relationships have been actually better because of that. And again, it's not like it just wasn't met with, like, frustration, like it was every single time, especially when I started showing up as this version of myself who speaks her truth and is like, I'll let you be wrong about me. I'll let you feel negative about those feelings, because that's yours to take on, but I'm not going to take that on, and that you got to decide that. So going in a little more detail about some of the things that have been happening. Oh, it's been so many lessons, y'all, so many. But I've been really proud of myself, really. Like, I write a list every day of what I'm proud of myself for. And lately it's been, I'm proud of you for saying that, for speaking your truth. I know that was uncomfortable. Like, for example, I was working with someone who had hired to do some work for me in my business. And it's been several months of me working with them. And the deliverables haven't been met. And it's been a lot of energy on my end to go back and forth, and, like, just, I feel like I was doing too much in the process of, like, trying to get them to do the work that needed to be done, and I can tell it wasn't going to lead to the results that I wanted. And then so the people pleaser in me initially showed up and was like, let's have a conversation about this and see where we can make things work better. But then I was like, in my intuition, I was like, this ain't going to lead to where I want. Like, I know that. They haven't delivered, like, it's not the standard that I'm looking for. You can tell that the habits aren't there. It's not going to happen that way. So I ended up just being bold and saying, I just would like a refund. Like, it's been so many months. I feel like I've kind of wasted my time. I've given so much energy into this, and I just would like a refund. And the person came back and was like, wanting to, like, do all these additional things, give me additional credits, add this work to it. And I was like, like, I don't want that, though. Like, no, I just want to be done with it. And I kind of felt like there was a part of me, I'm not going to lie, that was kind of like, are you being a fill in the blank B word, right? I was like, because, like, are you going to come off that way, or he's going to think that you're like that? And then I was like, what about me? Because I don't want this. Like, I don't want to keep going back and forth with these revisions with you. I don't even want to continue working with you guys. Like, so I was, like, listening to myself and being like, I'm going to speak my truth in this and say, no, this is what I would like going forward, because I think that's the best for my energy. And even there was continuous, like, discussions around, like, oh, we can make this better. We can do revisions together. We have to, and I was kind of like, I don't want to spend time on that. And it was me, I felt like, really honoring my time. And it was uncomfortable, and it caused some conflict, but I ended up getting a refund, or at least a partial refund, back. And I'm proud of myself that I stuck to that. And I let someone potentially think that I am a beep, or someone think whatever they want about me. And I'm like, that's theirs to think. Because in this situation, I want to honor myself. Because for so long, I haven't honored myself and my own needs. Because let's keep it real too, I've been worried about what people thought about me. All kinds of people. Like, oh, they may think that I'm whatever, I care about what. And now I'm kind of like, dude, I got one life to live. I want to think good about how I showed up. I want to be my best advocate. I want to intentionally design my life. And I've realized this. I always talk to my clients about this. Like, if you don't intentionally design your life in the way that you want, who's doing that for you? No one, because they're thinking about their own agenda. And I've even seen this play out in even family dynamics, where people that actually love you are still thinking about what's best for them. We see this happen a lot, where, in the season I'm in, being really pregnant, having a toddler, it's a lot to go places and to travel, and I've seen a lot where people are like, well, just come here, it's like, yeah, because it's easy for them. And you're kind of like, yeah, but it takes me hours of travel. I have to pack and do all these things. It's not uncomfortable. I'm in an environment that is not childproof. That causes another level of stress when you're there. It's not relaxing. I don't have the food that my kid would normally eat. So we constantly have to go out. And let's be real, going out to eat with my toddler, it ain't relaxing either. Because he wants to get on the tables. And it was like, but I'm doing that because it's convenient for someone else. And then now we've gotten to the point, my husband and I, where we're like, no, like, we're not going to do that. Yes, we're not the people that aren't flexible at all, because we totally are. If you follow us or know us at all, we do some crazy stuff with like kids, like hiking across Spain with, me being pregnant with a toddler on our back, like handling all the logistics of that. We do some crazy things. So we're not afraid of the discomfort. But my point is, we are done making it so that everybody else feels comfortable and like putting their comfort above ours. We want it to be a we win situation or no situation at all. That's where I'm at in my life now. And even when it comes to those that I'm working with in a business, like if they're not doing a good job, I don't want to work with them. And maybe that's perceived as like me being a jerk or whatever, but it's like, I see it as I'm going to honor my energy, my resources. And when I think about being a good steward of the resources the Lord has given me, when it comes to my energy and my finances and my time, I believe that means working with people who really honor me, my vision, my values. And if it's not there, then I don't think that's me being a good steward of my energy, my time, my money. So I'm just seeing things very differently. And I'm also in the season of like letting people think whatever they want about me. Like at this point, like I remember the old version of myself would have been afraid of like if someone had a bad review or thing to say about me. Now I'm like, that's okay, because I know myself. I know my heart. And I know that you can think a negative way about me, and that's fine. Like that's yours. And I don't have to take it on. And I can still know that the way I think about myself doesn't need, and my value and my worth doesn't need to come from someone else. This has got me thinking about even freaking social media. Like I have heard for the longest time, when you get on social media, like on Instagram and all that, make sure you're posting something and it benefits, like it's beneficial to someone else. Like you want it to be about them and it's helpful to them. And you hear this a lot, even as I do a lot of work around helping people with their presentations, their talks, all of that stuff, TEDx talks, their keynote talks. And it's a common like advice out there is that you want to think about how it benefits someone else. And I do think that's important to think about the audience. But what we forget to say is how this benefits you too. And I'm actually in the season of this, like where if I'm going to get on social media, like maybe I'm going to share something on Instagram that I want to share because it's fun for me. And I like sharing it and talking about it. And I don't care if anyone listens or like likes it and there's a million gazillion likes. Like who cares? I'm doing it because it feels good to me. And I see like my social media and my Instagram as like a representation of like my life and the things I loved. That's the way that I see it, not as a means to get people to validate me and tell me I'm good enough. It's like, I don't want that. And I recently worked with a client who I actually, keeping it real with you guys, stopped working with because I felt like that's what it was all about. Like the chasing of accolades, the chasing of more likes, the more feeling like she was validated by all these external things. And the deeper work needed to be done there. But I felt like instead of wanting to do the work around clarifying her vision and making sure she's living in alignment with it, it was like, no, help me get this next accolade so that I look good to other people. Help me get more views and more likes. And I'm like, I don't even feel good about that because I don't see where that aligns with like you feeling good and where you actually want to go in your life. And for me, it didn't feel like it was intentional action. And if you know the thing about me is like, I want you to take intentional action. I want you to think about who you want to be in your vision and have your actions align with it. And I'm not willing to take someone's money who isn't going to do that kind of work because that's something I believe in so much is like you want to be really intentional with your actions and the way that you show up. And if it's about like chasing validation and likes and self-worth from other people, I ain't your girl to work with. Because that's not something I want either. It doesn't feel in alignment for me. I don't want what other people think about me to determine how I feel about myself. And it takes a lot of work to get to that place. And I think that's the ultimate freedom. Like, one other thing about me, I got to keep it real with you, is like, I've been obsessed with comedy. My husband did laugh at me the other day though. And I was like, what? Because I said to him, I was like, yeah, I think next year one of my goals is, after I have a baby girl, I was like, I really want to go to comedy school. And he's like, what? And he's like, start laughing. And I said, yeah, like, I want to learn how to do comedy well. I think it's just like this ultimate freedom to show up and be yourself and be like, just say this funny, dumb stuff. Like, maybe it's not even funny to other people, but like, that's just coming up in your mind. And I like the art behind it, and like, because there is an art to it, you know, the way that you go about it. And I'm big about that, because I love helping people with writing their talks, like their TEDx talks or their keynote talks, and framing the thought leadership, because there's like an art behind how you frame it and set it up. So that's really interesting to me. But I also love like the aspect of you showing up and you're saying this and you're like, I'll let you think whatever you want about me. Like, you don't have to laugh at my joke if you don't. Like, it doesn't matter, because it's like, my self-worth comes from me. And that's what I admire so much about a lot of comedians that I see. Like, they will just show, like, be vulnerable. And just, I think it takes so much courage to stand up there and like share this stuff. And the best ones, I feel like, are the ones that are just in the flow of it. You know, and they're just like, okay, you can think whatever you want about me, whatever. Like, I'm still going to be me. And that's what I want to do more in my life. So yeah, that's something that's on my list. And another little secret about me is I have so many jokes written in my phone. I have a whole like notes section of all kinds of jokes written in my phone. And I've never like actually told these jokes, but I just want to take myself to that next level of being like, this is me. Take it or leave it. Like, who cares? My worth comes from myself. And when you see, and from God, that's what I mean. When I say myself, it's like you connected to God. The Holy Spirit is within you. Like, that's where your self-worth comes from. It's not from based on who laughs or who likes you or who whatever. It's from inside. And when you think about people that you admire, that's how they show up. It's like, and they have really good energy, because their energy, they're not trying to manipulate a situation. They're just themselves. And that's what I want to be more like, you know, just my true self. And I actually have been getting proud of myself. Like, if I get like some negative comment or some negative thing, I'm like, oh, that ain't mine. Okay. You know, and the old me, oh, she couldn't have handled that. It would have been rough for her. It really would have got her down. Now I see it as evidence of me doing my work in the world, because everyone's not going to like you and what you have to say. But the most important thing is, do you like you? Are you proud of how you showed up? That's really the most important thing. And I think a lot of us aren't even there. And I don't even think that you could be in a very creative state if you're too fixed, like too focused on worrying about what people think about you. The energy isn't there. If you even look at the energy scale, if you're obsessing and worrying about what people think about you, then you can't be in a creative state of flow, because that's a high energy. And the obsession and worry part is a very low energy on the energetic scale. It's a completely different vibration. So I want to just get myself to the higher vibration where I'm playing. When I look at my little son, you know, he's 1, and I just see him like outside playing, and he just like, he don't give a crap. Like, he's just playing, like he's just having fun. He's not worried about anything. And I just see real joy there. And I want to get more into a playing state, even when it comes to my business around like, of course, like I was part of a panel yesterday, and it was for people that were considering the coaching program that I went through, that I'm a huge fan of. And they were like talking about like just questioning if they should do the thing, and the doubt that they had. And I remember the doubt that I had too before I joined. But I say now it's like one of the best investments I ever made. But the point is, a lot of the fears come up when it's like, oh, will this work out well for me? Will it lead to, how will I know if I get, like, how will I get clarity? Will it get the clarity I need? Will it lead to the kind of business I want? Like, oh, I don't know if I should do it. All that fear was showing up. And I was just thinking about how, like, what makes life so great really is the not knowing. Like, so I was telling them, I was like, trust, like commit, take an action, and trust that it'll work out for you and you will be led. And but the ego doesn't want that answer. It's like, you want to know exactly what's happening, but do you really though? Because what if life was like that? Like, if you played a video game And it was like the same thing every time. Like you got up, you knew you did the game, you got up in the game, let's say, and you knew what the whole day was going to be like in the game. And it was like you had all good results. It'd be really boring. You wouldn't want to play anymore. Same thing with a movie if you watch that. What makes life so great is the unexpected. The way that you're led into these different areas, the way that God shows up and intervenes. And you have to allow yourself to be in that space of where, like, I think vision and clarity is important. I help people get that. But the way that you get that is by stepping into the unknown and being like, oh, this feels good, or oh, this doesn't feel good. And then you get the clarity that way. But too many people are too afraid to even step in the unknown. But that's the best part. When I think about trips, I can picture right now stepping into a forest and different hiking things that we've done and not knowing when the next water source would be, like when we were hiking the Appalachian Trail, not knowing like maybe when I might get food next, or like what else is going to be out there when we start hiking. But it was fun when I like came across something like Trail Magic where someone had food out for you and you're like, oh my goodness, like this was amazing. I remember the first time I came down from a very freezing, cold, stressful night where trees were literally snapping because of the ice. And we had to hike 10 miles out to get to the main road. And we were like rushing because we were like, oh my gosh, trees are going to fall on us, because one had almost fallen on our tent. And I remember thinking like, oh man, what I would really love right now is like a hot coffee with like almond milk. And because I'm like an almond milk girl, or like some kind of nut milk girl. But I'm like, who, like, you're going to get that out here in the woods, and you ain't going to get that. You know, it's like that's what my mind was telling me. And I had socks, kid you not, I had socks covering my hands because I didn't have gloves. And I was like so cold. And I remember we got down to the end of the mountain and there was people that were there and they had made this hot breakfast for us. It's so unexpected. And you could smell the eggs and the bacon, and they had coffee, and they had all kinds of like different kinds of creamers, and they had almond milk. And I was like, Lord, I see you. Like, and I was like, I didn't expect that. And it felt so good to receive. And when I think about my life, like I didn't expect any of this to be how it is. And it's better than what I could even imagine. But did I take intentional action? Yes, I did. But what my point is like, it's fun to be open to what could be. So I want you to also check in with yourself. Have you been controlling a bit? Have you been like being like, I want to know, and like you really want to know what's happening next, and you find that part of you like wanting all the next steps planned out? And I just want to remind you that ain't even fun, having that all like planned out, like in the sense of like it's like the unexpected, that it's so cool. It's like the stories my clients will tell me will be like, oh my gosh, Ange, we talked about this in my vision about like what I desired. And I had no idea that like it would show up this way. Like this person I was in contact with, I like met them in the elevator, or I sat next to them on the plane. I did like, and then they have this thing going on. And it's like, they can see where it connects to their vision and what they desired, but never did they think it was going to happen that way. And I just want to leave you open to that. And sometimes my clients can be frustrated, just like I can be, when something like a door shuts and they're like, oh, I really thought this was it. I thought it was going down this direction. It's not. And then I have to remind them that I believe it's because something's better out there for you. And also, what are you going to do in this situation, in this moment? Because I remember doors have shut on me in the past, and I'm like, I look back and I'm like, thank you, God, because you had something better for me. And I could have settled for that thing. But it's like, then I think about, what am I doing in those situations where the door's shut? Do I lose faith? Do I start believing lies that aren't true, that things aren't going to work out for me? Or do I see it as like, I see you, God. There must be something better. I'm excited to see what that is going to be. And I'm going to continue to follow my path in faith. There's another quote I have for you. I didn't think this episode was going to go this direction, but here we go. I want to talk about manifestation a little bit. I heard this quote and I love it. It's what he described as, I don't remember who it's from, forgive me, Lord, I wish I knew the name, but this is what he had said. I remember his quote though. He said, manifestation formula, like what's the formula for manifestation? Like bring things into your life. He said, I believe it's faith and relentless focus, or focused intensity. It's the combination of both. And I really do believe that. When you think about being in a state where you're like in a manifestation or flow or abundance, like you've heard these terms, it's really like you have faith and you also have intentional focus. It's those two combo of things. And I just think about like what faith is, because like faith is like not knowing what's coming, but you're trusting, you're being led. And so many people struggle with that. And the thing that helps me the most is I look back on my old past stuff and I see where God showed up for me. And I see moments where I doubted and I didn't know what was going to happen. And I'm like, I see what happened as a result of that. Like, I see like, oh, like I was always taken care of. I was always supported. Oh, I was being led down this path. Like if you can go back, you can see those things. And I have to remind myself of that in the season I'm in right now. Like even right now, like I want a bigger house than what we have because we have our little baby girl come in and it feels so crowded right now. And I've been really focused and we haven't found anything. And I remember other seasons of my life when I wanted something more and it wasn't showing up yet. And sometimes I started getting I can't talk, a little manipulative about it, where I was like, well, maybe this one can work. And I think this could be it. And I'll try to really, it was like I was forcing it. But now I'm just kind of like, okay, God, I trust you. Like, you know my vision and it's not here yet because probably the timing. And I need to be really intentional with my energy in this process, meaning like I'm going to still show up with faith-filled energy because that's the channel I need to be on to get the things that I desire. And I'm going to show up with this energy of I'm grateful for where I am and I'm going to use what I have in the best way. And even if we live in this little smaller house in this season and maybe a little crowded and whatever, I'm going to make the best of it. And that's the energy I want to show up with as I wait for the other things to come in. And I need to trust the timing because God knows better than me. And I just heard recently, like, I heard this from Kathy Heller and I love her. And she was saying about how sometimes like all of us wish we were farther along, you know? And she was talking about how like, what if you haven't came up with like the business idea or got the perfect job for yourself or whatever that you think that is, or the relationship, because it's not the timing of that yet. Like it's not supposed to be that yet. It's not about something you did wrong or you're being lazy or whatever it is. It's about the fact that it's not meant for you yet. And what if you trusted that what is supposed to be for you will come to be for you? Like you feel like you live in so much more peace. And I feel like then it allows me, if I have those beliefs, that I can really enjoy what I have right now in the season I'm in. Because if you're so fixated on what you don't have, and then you can't enjoy what's here for you. And if like me being a mom, I just think about how fast the season goes with my kid and my other one coming. I feel like I want to be here enjoying it, not just being like, oh, I need to be farther off in my career. I need this bigger house. I need this thing, because it's like, it's really about enjoying these moments, easier said than done, but really just think about that, because the energy too, when you think about alignment, your energy needs to be higher for you to be a match for the thing that you desire. It's like, so then if you want, like, why do we want anything? We want something because of the way we think it makes us feel. Why do I want that bigger house? It's because I think it'll give me more peace. It'll be more like clean, organized, more spacious. I think that's what I'm seeking, is like the peace around it. How can I bring in peace where I am right now? How can I turn to the same radio station? What does that look like? And I feel like that's what's going to lead you to the thing even faster, is getting to the right station. And it's like, that's in your control. Those feelings and those energy now, it's in your control in the environment that you are in. All right. I digress. What was this episode about again? I feel like I went on some different paths here. The whole point, we were talking about being in the season of pruning, how it doesn't always feel good. And that think about that. If you are pruning right now, like, this is you redirecting your energy. Let go of those things that are draining it, that are putting you on the back burner. And I know it's uncomfortable. I know it might be uncomfortable conversations you need to have, but do that, because the version of yourself, like that next level version of yourself, she would do that. She would speak her truth. She would think about what works best for her too. She'd be the best advocate for designing the life that she wants. So act like her now. Take those branches off that you don't want to direct energy towards, so you can direct energy towards the things that you do want. And then remember too, when it comes to bringing things into your life, the manifestation formula, let's say, the faith and the focused intensity. Like, are you acting right now like the way you're feeling? Are you showing up as a person of faith? Like, are you like believing that things are going to work out for you? Because you've always been supported in the past. Things have worked out for you, even in those hard times that you didn't think they were. And the focus intensity. Are you focusing on who you want to be and designing your life around that? Is what you're doing in your life, as far as the actions and the way you direct your energy, is that in alignment with who you want to be? Something to think about. Or do we need to redirect things? Do we need to cut some more branches off? All right. I hope this message served you. I hope you have an awesome day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.